All right. Good evening, everyone. So it's a very good evening to everyone. I'm so happy to see you again. So today I have very special thing to share with you all. And the best part is I'm not alone because I have few of my very good friends and coaches, or you could tell anything where I learn from them and apply in my life. And I'm sure you'll also enjoy a lot. So before I start the proceedings, I'll just give you a basic theme of today's studio talk. So today I've got a very interesting book, which has so much of conspiracy and so many things behind it. But many people are not even aware of this book. You won't believe it. But 3 4 years back, when I got hold of that book, first of all, I couldn't understand because the book had so much of archive knowledge, archive language. It was very difficult to understand. But once I read it, then after clarifying the doubts with the book from different coaches and mentors, I actually got some meaning out of it. And slowly we all started applying the book into it. So I got so many friends of mine right now, three of my friends who have very good backgrounds, very good corporate backgrounds, who will share their perspectives on the book. And before I start to share about the conspiracy and the question, let me invite my friends here. So hi guys, you can
Hi,
unmute
Kiran.
yourself. How are you?
Hello.
So why don't we start with introduction, guys?
Hi, I am Supra. Basically, I am from Odisha and I've pursued my engineering from there and then currently working as a change release manager with an BFSI domain.
So this is Bharat here. So I'm currently working as a technology lead in Infosys. I have 7 years of experience, and I'm part of Peak Impact Mentorship organization for close to 2 years now. And happy to join you all on live here today.
Hello everyone, my name is Madhavi. I work as a program manager, and apart from my profession, I'm also very passionate about personal growth and development. And I'm part of a mentorship program called Peak Impact Mentorship, where I am getting mentored, and I also have a lot of people whom I mentored. So thank you so much for Kiran for inviting us here, and I hope that we'll be able to share a very key secrets about learning.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the introduction. So as you saw, guys, they all are successful. They all are very sharp, handsome, everyone. And myself, anyway, you all know me. I am Kiran here. I'm alumni of IIT Kharagpur, and I'm also part of Peak Impact Mentorship, trying to add some value to society and do the needful. So before coming with the book, let me just share you the conspiracy behind the book. And this is so interesting. Let me share you that. So long ago, almost 100 years back, there was a guy called Andrew Carnegie. And if you just Google him out, you will find that he was most richest person in that era, and he was a steel magnet. And people used to respect him, and he used to have tremendous amount of network, wealth, and everything. And the best part, he realized in the end of his career, he realized what is a one good thing I can give back to society. He thought, okay, let me give every whatever wealth we had, wealth I have. Just like how Bill Gates is doing, he also did it. He in fact opened so many libraries, and in fact, a university called Carnegie Mellon University is also open under name of his. If you are studying in that university, if you're aspiring for that university, if you're a computer science grad, you would know it is the number one university in the world. And it came under his name, Andrew Carnegie. And he decided he need to give something to society which can stay generation to generation, and where people can use it and create tremendous impact. And that is when he decided to hire one guy, and his name was Napoleon Hill. And he asked Napoleon Hill a couple of interesting questions, before inviting him for this interesting task. He told Napoleon, I won't even give you any salary for almost 20 years. You have to work with me, and I will give you access to world's richest people, handful people who run the global economy. And I'll also make sure you connect with people who are all leading in the basic normal life. And I will give you a path, a platform to study all their lives. And this was a very basic proposal from Andrew Carnegie. But the catch was that he would not pay any salary. And this is when doubt popped up in mind of Napoleon Hill. He thought, man, this guy is so rich. Why doesn't even bother to give a salary? But he thought, okay, let us give it a try. And within just 20 seconds, he accepted the offer. Can you believe it, guys? And I'll tell you another secret of it. Andrew Carnegie was actually keeping a stopwatch. He was checking if someone is not giving the decision before 20 seconds, he himself will reject it. And luckily, Napoleon, he accepted the offer, and that is how the journey started. And before the book was published, 20 years he spent of his life researching, documenting all those people in that era. It could be Graham Bell, it could be Henry Ford, Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and so many Wright brothers, and so many multi-millionaires and impactors that time. And the moment he spent 20 years, he also spent 5 more years to study people, around 25,000 people who were leading a normal life, and wanted to understand what are the mindset, what are the difference path these people took it. Because most of us, we come from a very normal background. It was not that everyone comes from a rich background, but still few people only succeed, or few people create a huge impact in whatever way possible. So this is what the answer he was looking for. After 25 years, even spending after 5 years of the close to 30 years of research, he designed this book under the guidance of Andrew Carnegie, and that is when Think and Grow Rich was formed. And Andrew Carnegie decided that he wanted to give this book to the school curriculum. But again, that is when the conspiracy was there. Political conspiracy was there, that no government wanted to allow this book, because they realized if children from the early age they start reading the book, probably there will be very less employees, and world would not be filled with employees. So government just kicked it out. But still the power of the book is so high that today it is the book of the century, and all millionaires, every guy who's successful in this career, he suggests the book to everyone. And this is where we are going to talk about it. I have just few basic 3 questions where we'll take perspectives on different thing. So that's the first question, and I'll just project it. So guys, this is a question for you all, so you can unmute and share. What is the importance of this book on our lives, and how do you see the chapter Desire, which is the basic chapter, which talks about accumulating money, and few examples with it? Go ahead, guys. Yeah.
My reflection to that would be the importance of reading any book. First of all, the importance of reading any book. Now, the difference between a human and a non-human living thing in this world is the human's intelligent mind. Now, that intelligent mind that you have, to keep your cognitive skill very, very active and engaging, you need to read a lot of right books, so that your mind is engaging and it is learning something new, and your mind is active and it does not lose your focus. So that is why it is very clear that book reading is very important. Now, reading the right book, and books like, as the question says, the importance of this book on our lives. Now, this book talks about, this book touches upon a very beautiful secret about what do you desire from your life. And then there is one mistake that most of us make, is we consider that whatever we wish in our life, that is our desire. And that is where beautifully this writer exemplifies about what is a desire and what is not a desire. And then it talks about how you focus and concentrate on what you want from life, and how you connect that to your faith, because faith is the most powerful emotion, and combine it together so that you are so much indulged in visualizing that all the time, and that becomes your burning desire. Now, when the writer exemplifies, he takes example of money, but then, as you see, the name itself says Think and Grow Rich, and rich is much more than just becoming, just having money. It's about becoming wealthier, and wealthier, as the name suggests, it's about more well-being, having, of course, more money. But when he talks about money, he's exemplifying it by telling it to you how you can take some example like that of a desire in a monetary term, and then apply it in your life. So I think it's a great book, and personally, to me, it has been a great help.
Okay, so this particular book not only talks about money. I read when I read it, I was just trying to recollect. Also, it talks about money, fame, personality. I think these all are also the areas which the desire reflects. It's just a point I would like to hear from you. Like, so is it only limited to money, or desire, personality, name, and fame of an individual? Does this also come in the part of the desire?
That's a very interesting question, Supra. So, see, the main perspective of this book is very simple, because most of us confuse what is a desire, as Madhvi was mentioning. Desire is something which is very emotional to us. Now, when something is emotional to us, it need not to have some materialistic aspect of it. It could be some skill set. Let's say you have burning desire to have a good speaker in your life. Maybe from your childhood you wanted to be in your in your circle a guy who can really impact someone, a guy who can really help out some other people. So there could be multiple desires within you which is very emotional to you, and which never leaves your sleep. It's like sometimes probably your tears roll up from your eyes, something like that. And the book exactly talks how do you convert those desires into realistic equivalent, and that is when the monetary aspects come. So monetary aspects come, the time aspect come, everything comes. Only when we really understand the basic difference of it, that is when the realistic picture of this book, comes up. So it's a very good question, Supra. I hope things got clear, because many of us have a doubt that the book talks about only money, how desire is connected to money, and this is where it is connected, because it's all about emotions. And to bring out our aspirations in reality, money is just part of it, and we use money as a resource to create our desire into reality. And it could be anything for what you say. So this
Thanks,
is a
Nitin. I just wanted to ask one more thing here. So, burning desire. Anyway, money is one of the thing, as you said. So, burning desire could be anything which I would be aspiring for or achieving for in the next short term or long term goal. Is it also the same what
exactly
you
right.
meant just now? Yeah.
Exactly, Supra. You're absolutely right. So everything, desire is anything which you are emotional to it and you really want it. I think if you remember the story of Edwin Barnes in that chapter Desire, where he had a burning desire to work with Edison. He did not have desire to work for Edison, but work with Edison, and that desire kept him so focused that to just get an opportunity, he just hopped into some rail train which had no ticket. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted to work with him, and then he worked for Edison for a few years just to make sure Edison notices that person, that he has some caliber. And then ultimately, after lots of hard work, he got a chance to work with Edison, and Edison also could not say no to him, because it was like the fire was twinkling from his eyes, and Edison saw the spark, and he could achieve that. So there's a very good example, and I'm sure more examples will come if you just look into your own life, and people can really take the value out of it. So we'll come to the next interesting question. There's a thing called auto suggestion, and it's a very important question. And many people, face challenges. How do we really apply these learnings in practical way? So, Bharat, why don't you start with your perspective on this question first?
Yeah, auto suggestion is something like this. I'll just give you a basic perspective. No, most of us during our childhood days, so it is like this, right? So morning, if we have to go to school or something, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even if you want to wake up, also it is pretty difficult for us to wake up. It's because we have to go to some school classes or tuitions or whatever. But it's the same. It's not the same when if you want to get up and travel, or if you want to get up and go to play or something. In those cases, you don't need any alarm or something. You get up instantly. That is because whatever signals that we send to our mind, it's like I want to get up no matter what. It's because I like to play, or I like to travel or something. So in those cases, you are actually telling your mind, saying that I want this thing no matter what. Okay, it's like an auto suggestion. It's like a signal that you're sending your brain that I want this thing. So it's like a repeated kind of a thing. Or actually, in auto suggestion also, it tells clearly that whatever you want in life, or whatever you want, basically just write it down on a piece of paper summarily, exactly what you want in life, and recite it at least twice a day. If you can read it out loud, you do it. Otherwise, you can actually just tell it to yourself whenever possible. This is one good learning that I actually implemented in my life through this book.
Wonderful. I think I've learned one thing from Madhvi, that the way she uses all her sticky notes for auto suggestion. Madhvi, why don't you share that? Because there's something really easy to apply, and people can really use that learning to the book as well. And
Yes, Bharat beautifully explained on how it works. And, I grew up in a family where my mother, whenever we would have anything in the family, we had a calendar hanging in our on the wall, and she would write it there. And because she writes it there, every morning and evening she sees it, it gets programmed in our mind. And that is something that I developed from childhood. And now that I'm learning more, I'm applying it even more. I will just tell you how it works. So basically, auto suggestion, as the name itself suggests, it is just suggesting to yourself. It's a self-administered stimuli where you would be suggesting to yourself with a series of thought process. Now, how will you do that? The writer very beautifully has told 3 steps that Bharat also covered upon, and I use that very heavily from my childhood. And now that I have learned more, I use it even more, and it is working day and day out for me. So what I do is, I first ask myself and very clear about what I want, and now I know what exactly is desire and what is not desire. So I will clarify what are my desires, and I will write it down. So first is that I need to be absolutely clear of what are my desires, which has to be in combination of my faith, and I have to be very, very obsessed about this is what I want. And once I'm clear about it, then I write it. I write it in the piece of post-it, like you say. This is also sticked with my laptop with some note about me. I have a similar lot many sticky notes sticked on my mirror. The reason I have put it on my mirror is every morning or evening I see myself. I have that sticky note that reminds me of this. So what happens is every time that you see, it is mapping in your mind, and our mind works with the pictures. So what we read or what we hear, how we memorize it is with a picture. And when it is written there, it could be any required package or a beautiful house or whatever you want. I write it and I put it on my mirror. Morning and evening I wash that, and then it gets so well placed in my mind that I'm visualizing it all the time. And trust me, this really works. Yeah, so that's my reflection.
Absolutely, Madhvi. I think all of us must have applied somehow or the other. If you got any success in your life, you must have applied auto suggestion. So it's just that you're not aware of it. But when you read this chapters, it's like you're giving a small boy iPhone to use. Once the small boy learns how to use it, he can use actually more effectively. That is what this learning is all about. So we'll come up with a very interesting last question of this studio talk, where most of us, many of us, we go with the flow. We all do some higher studies, we all do some specialized knowledge. Some keep interest in having general knowledge, some keep interest in economic knowledge. So we gather knowledge a lot, but actually we are not sure sometimes why are we even doing it. Is it because society is telling us that's why, or because if our heart wants it to be, or because it is really connected to our end output, or the desire which we started with the topic for, right? So the question is very simple. In the book, it talks about Henry Ford, Edison, and Andrew Carnegie himself. All overcame the specialized knowledge gap. They hardly had any formal knowledge, formal education, and still they accumulated fortunes of wealth and impacting the society. And many people are, in fact, working in Ford company, in all lots of company which they started long, long back. If you're aware of General Electric, it was started by Edison. Edison is not there. He had no formal education, but we are accumulating all formal education, everything specialized, not just to work to make the company better. So, guys, what do you have, perspective on this question? Because even the book talks about something called specialized knowledge.
Yeah, so this particular concept is pretty mind blowing. So if you see here, you've given an example of Henry Ford, right? So in Henry Ford, if you see, he's just a sixth grade pass out. So how did went on to establish one of the biggest car manufacturing companies in the world? So it's basically he used that concept of mastermind alliance. So it basically states that you don't have to acquire that knowledge for you. You need to need to have the knowledge with you, but you need to surround yourself with people who have a sufficient knowledge for that particular field. Let's say that for example, I'll give how I applied this mastermind alliance in my own life. Okay, so we give this workout sessions every day. Okay, so I've surrounded myself with people who are good at one thing. For example, if you see here, Suprash is very good at giving cool down exercise, and if you see Kiran here, he's very good at giving stretching. I myself, I can give very good at giving the normal strength training exercises. So if you see here, if you want to give a correct package to your customer or to your audience, you need to have good amount of people who are doing good things, and different people doing good things. So that is called as mastermind alliance. Yeah.
Awesome. So, guys, there's one of the story which I've heard about Henry Ford. So, I think I personally wanted to share, because Henry Ford being so successful, people used to call him ignorant pacifist that time. And media started floating the knowledge, and people started ridiculing Henry Ford कि भाई तू कहाँ का है भाई, तुझे कुछ पढ़ना भी नहीं आता, कहाँ पे इतना रिच हो गया, सब कुछ ना कुछ तो गड़बड़ किया है तूने. So people used to accuse him like that. And one day Henry Ford he lost his patience, and he tried to sue that media company. And that is where these media people got so excited. Yes, now we got a chance to prove him wrong. And they called him under the court, and Henry Ford was under the dais, and people started bombarding all set of questions. They started with all specialized kind of questions, which Henry Ford tried, and gave little bit of questions related to his own field of automobile. But when it came to general knowledge, when it came about wars, at that time war were happening, and so many judges started asking about this question. What was the number of soldiers which were there last time in the war, and what are the count in this time of the war? And Henry Ford, with a just innocent voice, he told, probably it will be twice the time compared to that time. The moment he said, people started laughing at it, right? And it was so funny. And still people started accusing, and everyone in the audience, they started making fun of him. And that is when they touched their nerve. Henry Ford, just shut everyone out. And he just told to the lawyer that I actually don't have to clutter my mind with all those of general knowledge, which I'm not using in my life. If I really want them, I have in my office set of buttons. Whichever knowledge I want for my aspiration, desire for my business, I can just click that button. I can get the knowledge. And that is when whole crowd got silenced, and they could understand that this guy who spoke this sentence was not the man of ignorance, but he was a man of education. Education is nothing but something, you grow from inside out, and you learn and cultivate to bring out best from people, and you cultivate the knowledge from whatever source you have. Today we have so many sources in our kitty bank. We have Google, we have people, everything, but are we aware how to use it? And that is where what Bharat was telling about Mastermind Alliance. We all have to be sure about how do we develop ourselves so that we can surround with those good set of people which can really help us to grow. And that is when the all set of skill set come, isn't it, guys? What do you think, to really become a person to influence and create a mastermind group for our own? What kind of skills we could use? So Supra, you want to add anything on that? What kind of skills we could use, and what we're doing
When I
about
was, yeah, Kiran, the moment you said about the specialized knowledge, I was just thinking, why the hell did I study engineering? Because I was literally passionate about something else, and I have actually wasted that money. I could have, without getting studies, also people are rich. Maybe someone may not want to, but to be honest, I want to have enough of money and could spend enough of money on fashion stuff rather than anything, because that is the area which I'm really interested in. And I was just connecting with you when you were narrating that particular specialized knowledge.
Great, guys. It was awesome. If you guys want to add anything else, or we'll just summarize and
Add
stop.
two points here, Kiran.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to add 2 points, like you were asking, right? So, what are the skills that we need to have? So, basically, you need to have good communication skills. You just need to communicate to the people, like what are you expecting from them, and also, the leadership skills. So, when you need to form a mastermind alliance, you need to work with lot many people. So, there you need lot of leadership skills as well. So, these are two important skills that you need to possess to form a mastermind alliance, which Ford, Edison, and whatever Rockefeller, the names that you have mentioned, right? They are good at.
Awesome, guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Madhvi, you want to add something about our Peak Impact mentorship, so that we'll all wind it up how Peak Impact and how our book club is really adding value to people, so that we all can create our own mastermind alliance group.
Yes, absolutely. So, like we spoke about, how we learned just now about the skills that are required to create the mastermind alliance. So, you require certain set of skill, and you need to have a big thinking. When we have heard about this, right? That somebody's heart is very big, and he is a big person. So, by that, what we all mean is he has a very big ability to see things big, right? The very visionary person. Now, we don't acquire a lot of skills from our childhood, because there are so many external environment that influences it. Hence, it is very important that in your life you welcome new change or the new information in your life with open arms. For that, there are so many things you can do. I will share you what I am doing and how I have been successful. So I am part of mentorship program under Peak Impact Mentorship, where I have a mentor, and PIM offers thousands of thousands of versatile set of mentors from different background, family, ethnicity, profession. So you have somebody who is purely interested to see, to understand what you want and how to mentor you personally, and is very genuinely involved in your success. And like that, you also get opportunity to mentor somebody. So that way, I am practicing that mentorship. I am practicing by learning and also giving to others, to the world, to the society. And it has been wonderful. We do a lot of book reading. And like I said, right, the difference between a human and a non-human living thing in this world is just our intelligent mind. And to keep our intelligent mind all the time active and our cognitive skill very, very reactive and very, very efficient, you need to read, write book. You need to do that mental exercise, because biologically, your mind will degrade, your body will degrade. But as body will decline with time, mind is, your wisdom is something that will appreciate with time. So acquire good tools, and we are having a lot of learning on Peak Impact Mentorship. We have once in a week growth workshop session. We also have a book club where we all share our book learnings, and it would be great if you would like to join us, because we are having a lot of learning and adding value to our life and each other's life every single day. I would really recommend that.
Awesome, Madhvi. Thank you so much for summarizing everything. So, guys, it is all out of a goal because we all are in one mission to impact 1 lakh people in effective communication and life skills. And Peak Impact Mentorship, founder itself is Vijay, who has been part of our life, who has mentored and coached all of us, and we are grateful to him. And the best part is that because we all are passionate about personal growth, that is the reason we are all aligned and we're spending a valuable time. And I especially want to thank all of you guys to really spend your 15-20 minutes to give to all of us so that we get some value out of it. And I'm sure after this video, you will pick up this Think and Grow Rich book and start reading it. So with this, we are in end. So thank you so much, guys. Good night and see you again.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much, Madhvi,
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much.
Yeah.
Everyone stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.